the central bank and the government of India interacts in multiple ways. Our relationship with the central bank is multidimensional.
Sure.
You perhaps won't realize how intense and how different formats are there under which we so intensively discuss everything. I was mentioning to someone, on an average, there are 2 to 3 communications which go from my department to Reserve Bank on different things. It's currency, markets, this and that, asking for views, discussions and all. So it takes, there are so many meetings which we conduct here, which takes place there, where government, RBI officers participate, discuss, decide.
So then what happened? Why did the relationship become so openly volatile and openly? I mean, why were there Twitter wars and why were there speeches being given? So one would ask that, right?
So that also,
that's a new dimension in this relationship. This wasn't an existing dimension.
My sense, it's more of a media and academics creation.
So when Deputy Governor Viral Acharya says wrath of markets and the DA Secretary tweets wrath of markets because there's been a blip up, is it a media creation? Or is it tit for tat?
Did you hear anyone from the government?
No, I read tweets. I may have not heard.
Or even from the Reserve Bank, other than one speech. I will come to that one speech if required. Anything about what you would describe as a war situation or something?
Of course. I've not heard. You may have not said it on record, and there are cues and perceptions we pick up. I think you're right in saying that you may have not been at war, and I think these are things that we use in the media. But things have never come to this point between RBI and central government.
No,
I
wouldn't even.
This is not an intellectual disagreement, sir.
No. Even there, you see, I think 2 things probably made a lot of people believe that there is some uneasiness or some sort of.
Did it start with the speech?
So 2 things. One was what flowed from the direction of the Allahabad High Court, that you start a consultative process under.
And the RBI wasn't willing.
So that arose from a court direction, and so that was one. Second, possibly the tone and tenor and the words used in that speech. Normally central banks don't speak with this kind of language, and when this was used, a lot of people possibly thought there must be something very, very serious. I think these 2 possibly gave credence to or created or consumed up a kind of scenario as if, but it's not that bad.
I'm glad to hear it's not that bad. I'm sure markets will also heave a sigh of relief. I wonder what do you have to say to your own tweet in response to that? What do you have to say about people like Mr. S. Gurumurthy, who 48 hours before a central bank's board meeting are writing out policy prescriptions on what the bank should do? And I think this is what was fueling the rumor. But anyways,
the only that tweet which you're referring to, you see, the construct of that speech was that
if it's going to be a disagreement, it will attract wrath of markets.
There is some situations like the central bank being subjected to some sort of pressures or something. And if central bank governors take some decisions, the markets come back with wrath and fury, and that was the concern.
So when the markets went up, you couldn't resist putting that out.
But
sure, I understand. Yes.
What I think the commentators in the media went completely wrong was that situation is not there in India at all. Most of the discussions was focused on monetary policy, right?